Well, good evening, and as a staff member and adjunct faculty member here at the college, I formally welcome you to Virginia Western Community College. We are celebrating our 50th year anniversary this year, ending up in May. It was actually in 2016, but our celebration ends up with graduation this May. So we're looking forward to the future. And for those of you who don't know, we actually will have a new STEM building come online, so to speak, or begin construction hopefully by fall semester and be completed within a year's time. And that building will be in front of Weber Hall and the Student Center down here along Colonial Avenue. Also have some improvements down along Colonial Avenue for landscaping, which I'll talk a little bit about here in just a second. So we invite you to come back and see the progress of what's going on there. So we're in the Department of Horticulture here at Virginia Western. And I was asked to talk a little bit about my background and how I came to the position I'm in right now. I am actually a native of Roanoke, born and grew up here, graduated from Roanoke Valley Christian Schools. I noticed there's someone in the room from RVCS on the attendance sheet. And then that's a small school here in Roanoke, so chose to come to Virginia Western because it was a smaller environment. Originally wanted to take horticulture here, but my goal was to transfer to a four-year institution. So my advisor here, the department head at the time, suggested I go through the associate's program in applied science and took some electives in horticulture, taking those that were transferred to Virginia Tech, and then completed that, and then went on to Virginia Tech to get my bachelor's of science in horticulture with an emphasis in landscape horticulture. And when I went to Virginia Tech, it kind of opened my eyes to all of the career opportunities that are out there in horticulture. Sometimes you just think of landscaping or greenhouse management and growing crops, but there's actually the whole plant science realm that if students are interested in getting deep into what causes a plant to do what it does and learn that, that option is there as well. It's amazing that the arborists tell me that there's things that go on in trees that they still don't know why that process goes on and what it does. So we're still learning in that realm as well. So some classes I took were plant ID, landscape design, landscape construction, and these are some of the classes we offer here in our program. Plant pathology and physiology. And I guess one of the important things about those two is the fact that as a professional going into the industry, you can actually understand what's going on with the plant when there is a problem and diagnose it better by knowing these types of things, particularly as you move up into administrative levels and management levels within the industry. And of course, studied entomology, and then took some ag courses just to kind of round out my education. Here, I'll talk a little bit about this here soon, but we do cover some entomology, but not in the depth that we do at the that we did at the four-year college level.
Click the right button.
Yep, sorry, I'm not used to using one of these. There we go. My career path in the area, I started out with Bel Air Garden Shop, which was a small landscape garden center company here in Roanoke. Jumped in to a situation where I was supervising a crew and running a garden center, ordering plants and stocking and working weekends, selling plants. So students that come out of college and get into this industry really get their feet wet quickly, and you really have to hit the ground running, so to speak. And that was sort of a shock to me. I had the book knowledge, but I really didn't have all the experience. So I always encourage my students now to go to internships, do any kind of work for companies in the area while you're in school, so that you can learn the in and outs of how landscape and greenhouse operations work. So then I went on to Green Barn Nurseries after a time away from the nursery business, and spent 8 years there. Greenbrier was just up and coming in the area, and one of the larger corporations, better garden centers developing in this area. We were trying to get up to the scale of garden centers you see in Hampton Roads, Northern Virginia area, and I think we accomplished that well. Was assistant manager there in the nursery and the perennial areas, managing 20 to 30 employees at a time, and put lots and lots of hours in, as I can imagine you as educators do that as well. And that probably for me was probably one of my second culture shocks, was just the amount of time that a manager, not just a business owner, but a manager, employee can put in during the growing season. And then was called here to Virginia Western and was able to take on the horticulture technician position as a full-time staff member, overseeing daily operations of the arboretum from a hands-on aspect. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I'm sorry, I take that back, that's about 7 or 8 years ago now, our program director retired after 32 years here at the college. He began the program and sort of through default kind of fell into the horticulture program department head position, and the learning how education works together. Most of my background, as you can see, was in hands-on, working out in the field, so I had to relearn a lot of things and how the education system works. One of the things that shocked me was how far ahead you had to plan things. Still learning that. And then also that came with that was the arboretum director's position, which controlling the 2 acres that you see here. How many of you have been to the arboretum here? Excellent. So we offer now a career studies certificate program in horticulture technology. Our program has changed a little bit over the past 10 to 15 years. Horticulture as a general rule, the numbers of students in those programs are declining. So we're trying to find ways to increase those numbers, which I'll talk a little bit about here at the end. So basically the Career Studies Certificate program here at the college just includes your core horticulture classes. You don't have to take your gen eds. So basically a student can come in and go through 2 semesters and graduate with an opportunity to work in the field, entry-level positions in the industry, or lower supervision positions within the industry. So we offer plant propagation, landscape plants, plant pest management, and professional landscape management. We used to offer a little bit more in-depth sciences with these, such as soils, but we now include some of that into the professional landscape management and also in the greenhouse management in the second semester. So what we're trying to do is put more students into our classes and to get them through more quickly. We've been having discussions at the college recently about the trend in moving quickly through programs, and we're looking at ways to do that. Potentially some programs here may move to a 1 semester time for a student here at the college. So you take 8 weeks of a course and then 8 weeks of another course, and you can move through a program a lot quicker that way. some of that would be an online portion. Let's see. So these are some of the careers that some of our graduates and current students are in. We have someone part-time working at the turf store in Roanoke currently. One of our star students, who was actually with us when we had associates program, is the garden center manager at Rockingham Mutual, which used to be Southern States in Cloverdale, Virginia. We have a student who is writing as freelance for the Roanoke Times. You may have seen some of her articles of Fanatical Botanical. And she's also a part-time community director, garden director here in Roanoke. Some of our students like that part-time component, and they come through the program to get a part-time job, and others look for that full-time component. The part-timers mainly because they have a family or children, and they just want that part-time. But in Nursery Specialist, there's not a whole lot in this area related to that. You have to go up more to closer to Northern Virginia, but those opportunities do exist. One of the challenges here that most garden centers, greenhouse operations, nursery operations are family owned, and they have a lot of family running the business. But those opportunities do come up from time to time. So I'll talk a little bit about the Community Arboretum. This is a teaching laboratory, and that's what it was developed for. So the students would have a place to practice their what they learn in class. Part of the curriculum is that they finish up their last semester as an intern in the Arboretum, and we try to give them hands-on experience with pruning because of the theory about it, and then there's the hands-on, but also any projects that we're working on in the Arboretum, as well as the crops we're growing in the greenhouse. We grow 4 crops a year in the greenhouse, including what you see in there now, the annuals and vegetables, and then poinsettias. So that really gives them just a hands-on perspective of how the operation works. They can scout for insects, and we try to give them responsibilities so that they know the day-to-day operations. And it just talks about the Arboretum as a whole. We're 2 acres here. This was developed back in, or dedicated back in 1993. And the college gave us the use of the property, and we agreed to maintain it with private donated local funds. So we have a group of about 20 volunteers each year that help us maintain it, as well as our students. We're currently in the process of relabeling all of our plants, which is an important component of the Arboretum because the community and our students come in to learn about the plant material here on site. This is one area that, as the dynamic changes for horticulture education, we are reaching out to local businesses to see what they are looking for. And these are some of the things that we've heard from individuals in the industry. One big thing is just work ethic and willing to work hard and follow through. Problem solving, that a student or employee coming in can see a problem and fix it without having to go to the manager on a consistent basis. Math skills, there's not a tremendous amount of math skills that are needed for this, except your basic skills of figuring out how much mulch you need to put in a specific area, how much fertilizer is needed for a certain crop. And thankfully, the industry has gotten to where a lot of that is figured for you and easy to access. One of the things we're looking to do in our programs, and it's one of the initiatives of the Chancellor for the community colleges, is to improve the amount of certifications that the college offers students, so that when they come out of a program, if they need a certification to install pavers, they have that certification. If they need certification to apply pesticides, they will have that certification, and we're working towards that as we move into the future with the horticulture program. This is an aspect that some students like to pursue, and it has to do with kind of my position here at the college. Again, one thing that I learned coming into this was just having the organizational skills to plan. Typically, they want a Bachelor of Science, and if you're going to teach and be able to have those classes transfer to four-year institutions, you'll have to have your master's. Microsoft Office skills, PowerPoint. As you can see, my PowerPoint is pretty simple, so I am still learning that myself. Excel spreadsheets, Publisher. You know, we use a lot of that in the office every day, and we look for part-timers and give those students in our internship opportunities to use those skills and hone those skills so they are marketable to an employer. These are some of the things I spoke about for the future. We would like to reinstitute our associate degree program, and we're looking to join in with building trades, where a student would take an electrical course, a welding course, as well as all their horticulture courses, and be able to be more well-rounded to go into the landscape industry. Typically, a student or a owner of a greenhouse business, you're going to have to do a lot of your own repairs, so that's kind of where we're going with on that track. One thing that some of the local business owners have offered to us is job shadowing. So that student comes in and works with them for a week or two in a landscape position or greenhouse position. And then one thing for horticulture that as a whole we're looking at is possibly changing the name. Maybe students these days can't really relate to the name horticulture. And it may be related more to permaculture, sustainability, gardening, community gardening. One of the growing elements for particularly Franklin County area and students coming in from the rural areas is mini farming. And then, of course, in this area, community gardening is growing. Also, I heard a presentation from a young lady from Canada who says that community orchards are coming this way as well. So some new things in the industry to consider, and we're trying to improve our program to include some of that. So thank you for your time, and I'll be here for questions afterward.
Thank you.